On July 6th, believe it or not, they all met at the airport. They arrived before 4. We were supposed to meet there at 4 a.m. They arrived before 4 a.m. And Northrop Grumman provided a criteria for what teachers were to do as they selected students to participate. And our teachers added 2 other criteria. Can you stay away from home for 6 nights and 7 days without your families? And are you gonna get on that plane? Because many of our students haven't flown before. And I started getting calls at 3:45. The students are already here, come. So I can walk to the airport. Anyway, I arrived. The kids were very excited to board, and the families were very nervous for their students to board. But here's what you're gonna hear a little bit about tonight that I think is really exciting. When the students came back and the teachers, they talked about simulated space missions, teamwork exercises, and STEM activities that bring the wonders of space exploration to light. And they also talked about how we have this idea of what space is like and what space training is like, and they actually got to see current space training and current space simulations. So I just want to recognize a couple of things. Northrop Grumman called us in December, and a lot of teachers have already planned their summers at that point. So we needed 5 teachers and we had 24 seats. And we filled all 4 of our teacher seats, and we filled all but 1 of our student seats. So that was really very exciting at such a last minute time. And the other thing that I think you're gonna hear a little bit about that's really great that the teachers didn't know about until after they had all agreed is when you arrive at space camp, the students go this way and the teachers go this way, and they don't really run into each other until graduation. Maybe they crossed each other's paths at some point, but we have a couple of students here. I'm gonna introduce our team. So we had 4 teachers: Jessica Miller, Karen Ackerman, Melissa Thaxton, and Julia Weed. And then some of their students that are here tonight: Peyton Henschel, Axel Sanchez Perez, Ishmael Al-Abdullah, Dara Ada-Kunle, Elliot Lopez, Shangrella Maharagan, and Nilofar Farhang. And Ms. Weed's going to talk to you a little bit about what's in the slides, but Peyton Henschel and Elliot Lopez have prepared a few words about their experience. They all got spacesuits.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
Good evening. My name is Peyton Henschel, and I am in the 7th grade at Henley. I am also a proud Space Camp alumna. This summer, I was awarded one of Alabama country's student scholarships from Northrop Grumman to attend Space Camp in Huntsville, Alabama. Tonight, I will be sharing some of my experiences with you. At Space Camp, there were kids from all over the world. We went to presentations, we did team building activities like making and launching a rocket, and completed simulated missions, most successful, and ate meals together. We did simulators like the multi-axis trainer and the 1/6 gravity chair. We visited museums and saw giant rockets, played at the theme park, and got Kona ice. I'm grateful to Northrop Grumman and the U.S. Space and Rocket Center for wanting children to attend their space camps. They know we are the next generation of space scientists. They gave us the experience of a lifetime. I know I will never forget the week of fun and learning at camp. This concludes my space camp speech. Thank you.
Hello. What I have to say is that I had a great experience at space camp. My favorite part was being a pilot because I wanted to be a naval aviator when I grow up. I also liked staying there for the week and making new friends. Thank you for your time.
I'm going to speak a little to the teacher experience. As Katina said, we got to move and go do our own thing, and it was really Camp for Adults. It was great. And by the way, there is Camp for Adults in case any of you are fired up to do this. You can go. There's also an educator camp that is geared a little bit towards more towards educators. So some of the things that we got to do. This is a view of doing the missions. These are real trainers that they have used for astronauts. Do you all see the slides? Are they on here? Okay. This is our teacher group. The Northrop Grumman brought people together from 6 countries, US, 4 or 5 places in the US, oh, more than 6 probably, no, 6. England, Poland, South Korea, and Australia. And those kids were also mixed in with our kids. So our kids have friends now from all over the world, and that by itself is a really special experience. We got to, I guess this is the student one where it has a lot of information, but I'll skip through. This is the 4 o'clock in the morning airport. This is much. These are some of the things that we did. Bouncing around the 1/6 gravity simulation, very difficult for me. Building rockets, that was a really interesting one, frankly. The teachers from South Korea said, do you get to have gunpowder in your classrooms for this? And we're like, no, in the United States we do, with some rules, but we did the rocketry. We did roles, so the space missions involved the roles, the ground control, and then the various missions. And the various missions were very based on science. So we never lost sight of the science aspect of this. That machine is a beast, by the way. So these are some other pictures. We met astronauts. Woody Spring is a shuttle astronaut, and we got the teacher diplomas from Charlie Duke, who was an Apollo astronaut. That's pretty cool. So here's some other pictures. Basically, one of the goals of Space Camp is to really get people excited about the mission of NASA and the space exploration, and it's a really, really neat time to have been able to go, because the Artemis missions going back to the moon are just beginning, and the manned missions are coming up very soon. So it's a really fantastic time to be in this, for our kids to see it, because we haven't had that many manned missions except to the space station, and as they grow, they are going to grow into these possibilities. And a lot of Space Camp alum go on to become people who work for NASA. And they also did a really wonderful job of showing that NASA is not just about rocket scientists and astronauts. There's artists involved, there's food people involved, there's communicators involved, there's lawyers involved, there's weathermen. And there's just a wide range of opportunity available with NASA. So it was really neat to see that variety and for our kids to have such a great exposure to it, as well as ourselves. So we came back fired up to do some labs. We have at Burley, we're going to do the one where you make a really thin heat shield, like the heat shield tiles on the Challenger, and then you put it in front of a blowtorch, and you put an egg behind it, and you see if the egg will explode after 3 minutes of full-on blowtorch. And none of ours did, so we're pretty successful with our heat shield. So we're excited to do that. That's it. We're done. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, are there any questions or
Actually,
comments?
Can we go back to the slide that had the countries and the states? I'm curious, is this something that it's not something we can do annually, right?
We're hoping to have a call from Northrop Grumman. Northrop Grumman has done this before. This is the largest group that they've sent to Space Camp from Albemarle County. We don't know, but we're really hoping that they'll call back. And these teachers did a presentation to all of our middle and high school science teachers, and we have a lot of people excited to say yes if we do get this invite.
Yes.
These are all the places where Northrop Grumman has locations. So
Right, it makes sense. It does make sense. I mean, they're right here.
I have a question for the students. Did this make any of you want to go into science or engineering or become an astronaut? Like, did it open up several? Yeah. Space is terrifying, right? Really? Oh, really? I had no idea. Oh my goodness. Maybe I need to go to adult camp. That's fascinating. Thank you. That's awesome.
Okay, with the teachers, how many other experiments do you think you would be bringing back that we could use in our classrooms from this experience?
They purposely make sure that every experiment that we did there is something that's replicable in our classrooms, as well as showing us lots of other opportunities for partnership. For example, there's a high altitude weather balloon that they're currently taking applications for student ideas. What kind of experiment should we do on these? What sort of things should we be doing on the space station? So lots of opportunities both to do labs in class and also kind of guide what we think, what should the astronauts be doing in space.
I will add, I'm just starting a robotics club at Henley because of robotics at the rover missions. So I think it's very inspiring.
Right.
I just wanted to really thank our pioneers for going out and taking on this project. I really want to thank Ms. Dudley for your quick action to make this happen and getting people on board. You have so many partners in the community and you're able to make great things happen for our kids. And I want to thank the teachers because I know it was a cool experience, but great educators, in my mind, make themselves vulnerable and open themselves up to new experiences because that's what we want our young people to do and for their parents to do. And I just really think you typified that. You already do. I know all of you as teachers, and that's what you do every day. But by attending this camp and experiencing the same thing the students were, you really were a source of inspiration for them. And students, you're just courageous to take this on. And I hope that inspires you to get into STEM, and whether you want to be on a rocket or you want to support one. And I don't know what the ratio is, but I assume it takes hundreds of people, thousands, to support a rocket launch and to make it successful. So thank you to all of you.
Nobody was scared to ride the plane home after this.
I was reading some papers when they returned from space camp, and one of my favorite papers that I read was about their space mission, because they all had a role, and they all had to do their role well so that they could have a successful mission. Am I saying this right? And I just thought, you get in there and you're so curious about what everyone else is doing, but you can even see in the pictures that they're focused on their task because they know that that is something that they have to follow through with for this whole mission to work. And so I really loved reading about that from one of the students that sent me that in the paper. So anyway, I hope I said that well. If you have anything to add before we sit down, feel free. Anybody else want to add anything? You had your hand raised at one point. Do you want to share anything, or are you good? Yes. You good? All right. Thank you guys for letting us be presented tonight. This is great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. I know, I feel jealous. I'm very jealous of that. Next we have our school board and superintendent.